Hi everybody, my name is Shanth and Jetty and you're watching Shanth and Jetty Art. I wanted to let everybody know about the Shanth and Jetty Art TeePublic store. I've updated the site with some new designs, including one of my favorites and one of your favorites as well, the Made with Liberty in the USA. That is available to get on a t-shirt for all of you guys who've wanted that for a very long time, as well as the Nosfero logo t-shirt, the Shanth and Jetty Art crest t-shirt, which I love, the Speakeasy logo. So there's a bunch of new stuff there in the shop. Every bit of support you guys give this channel, whether it's my channel members, thank you again, or sending the super chats, buying the t-shirts, every bit helps me to do what I do, and I thank you guys so much for doing what you do. As always, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace, because that is what Shanth means. Thank you everybody. Now on with the show.
You speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And how alike sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
You think you are free, that your decisions are your own. Tell me honestly, did you really choose this path? Or was it chosen for you? Your father, with every triumph, every failure, was it not his decisions that brought you here? Has his path not sealed your own? Marked out in golden bricks below your very feet. The path is set. Keep your head up. Keep your weapon loaded. Follow the battle brick road.
Good morning, come on in. Coffee's good, fresh and hot. There's a waffle in the baker, on the grill we're making bacon. You're always welcome back.
Charge! What is up, you beautiful people? Welcome to Shanth and Jetty Art. I am Shanth and Jetty, and this is the Waffle Lodge. This is episode 1 of the ODDCAST, and I'm telling you this, guys. I will say this. I'll tell you this. You guys know the things I say. You know my catchphrases. I was sitting around, and I'm boxing up Nosfero and going through the list of the first, packages that I'm getting ready to send out. I am so excited to get this book to you guys. I have spared no expense. No expense. When it comes to this stuff. So I have got much... Whoa, the mic is aft. Is it too loud? Let me see. Hang on a second. The mic is effed, I've been told. Let's see. Let's see here. Huh, that is interesting. How is it now? Is it any better now? Is it too loud? Stop talking and read chat. I did. Distorted as hell. Interesting. I wonder if that's a Wi-Fi problem or something. I'm roboting, you're saying. Interesting. How about now? Is this any better? Let me know if it's any better, and we'll get there. Yeah, that's a very strange thing. I cannot speak to that. I cannot speak to that. You are roboting. Oh, it's not a sound issue. Gotcha. Gotcha. Let me see. So you're saying it's not any better now? Or it is better now? Hang on a second. Let me take a look. We have the technology. We have the technology to see what a nightmare this is. Let me see. Not better, not any better. This is demonic. Huh. Let's see. Let me see what's going on. How is this? Is this any better or is this worse? That's the real question. Let me know if those things change. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on. For heaven's sake. For heaven's sake. It's the same. Sweet. Let's try this. Input. How is this? Is this any better? Let's adjust this. That's a great idea. Let me try. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm muted now. How is this? Is it actually, what am I saying? I got it over here. There we go. That's a little bit better, right? Perfect. Look at that. Sooner or later, right? Sooner or later, we can figure it out. Now I've just got to do a couple more things. It's worse now? Hey, it's back. Is it worse now? No, that was just probably the other audio. Let me just test and see. That's all the way better. Okay. I think that's what it is. Give me some ones if things are sounding okay. And if they're not sounding okay, then I'll figure it out. But I don't want to do too much to mess this up. So let me see. I love it once. All right, cool. Now I'm going to try something to see if I can screw it up. I like that one. Now I'm going to see if I can do something to screw it up and see if this works any better. Hopefully it's not gotten worse. We'll just read lips. I understand. Yeah, it's probably for the best that you read lips. Anyway, welcome to Shanthan Jetty Art. I am Shanthan Jetty, guys. I've been wanting to get something regular on the books and get things scheduled, but I've been working furiously to get these packages packed up. It's a one-man operation. I am doing each and every one. So that's how it goes. And I am also my sound technician, which is why things have not been going well. But hopefully it's been a little bit exciting to start off. So here's the thing I wanted to do. First of all, I love each and every one of you. I want to say hello to my channel members. I want to say hello to Cranberry Langers. I want to say hello to Stephen Rockwood Drawing. Oh, shit. I was supposed to pretend it was all bad. Speaking of Stephen Rockwood, you are going to be in our first batch of books that are going out. And I'm really excited when I saw your name. Thank you for being an amazing backer. Thank you for being a channel member. You are a legend, my friend. And I am looking forward to putting together the package I'm sending out to you, my friend. Yeah, it's been a wild day. I love all of you guys, but I have to tell you, I don't love you as much as I love Elon Musk. He made my day, and I didn't even know he was going to do it. It was a beautiful surprise. So as I put this stuff together and as I'm putting these packages together, know this. Killing is my business, and business is good, one. And two, also know this. That as I put this stuff together, what's up, John? Good to see you, man. as I put this stuff together, we have spared no expense on the packaging of these things. I have got this whole system set up. And one of the things that has been kind of one of the things that's been kind of amazing about this whole process is the amount of different things that I have to bear in mind when I'm doing this. It's a lot of moving parts. And one of the things that was the last step in all of this was getting the YouTube thing back, because there are two different phases to this. There's the campaigning phase, then there's, you know, the printing, the production, the painting phase, which goes on simultaneously, and then there's the fulfillment. And I can tell you guys, by the time you get these packages, that you have gotten your money's worth in terms of raw materials, because this stuff is, you know, again, the book is beautiful. The head sketches are beautiful, and I'm making sure everybody gets a pristine copy. And so that's one of the big things that we've been after. But I wanted to do something fun on this stream tonight. I wanted to do something fun with this show. I've sent out the invite to some people. We'll see if they come in. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on, and about what's going on in terms of artwork and creativity and some of the stuff that inspires me, and hopefully give you guys some fun stuff to take a look at and some fun stuff to consider in terms of what we're doing. So let me show you something I have on my desk right now. I'm going to see if this works without destroying the mic. Oh, stop cam. That's beautiful. Look at what this kid is doing, man. I'm going between StreamYard and Ecamm is tough. Let's see if this will even show up here. There we go. So someone was asking me before if I'm working on how work goes on my new characters. There are so many new characters and new things that I am working on right now. It is ridiculous. And this is an example of one of those things. But I'm going to be sharing a lot. Yes, indeed. I completely agree with what Elon said as well. I have never been more excited for a new comic book. Guys, you're going to love it. You're going to love this thing. It is not only it's not only a comic book, it's not only a story, but it is just a beautiful work of art. And when I say that, I wanted to talk about art tonight. Are you guys all right with that? I wanted to talk a little bit about art. I want to talk a little bit about how I see things, because, or how I do what I do and why I do what I do. Elon said he loves us all. He just said it the way Elon would say it, but it was beautiful. But you know, when you guys see this book and you guys have watched me paint, you've watched me craft this stuff, you've watched me put this stuff together. I've seen so many conversations about art, the nature of art, which is always a bad sign. And I've been thinking a lot about getting people to think about these things and showing people stuff that will inspire you, because I think we've kind of lost sight of the craft of what is great. And people ask me, who inspires you? Who do you look at? I look at a ton of people. But I wanted to show you guys some stuff that isn't in the comic book space, isn't in this space, that inspires me. Because there is so much stuff. And I think sometimes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about manga tonight. Remind me that I planned on doing that, because I don't know what to say other than I feel as though we are not, for a long time, we've given ourselves an excuse for why people aren't interested in the stuff we're doing. And I think it's because we've taken what we've been doing as far as it can go, and we need to push things. We need to push things big time. And there have been a lot of folks who've just been looking at small stuff. Yeah, and it's crazy. Yeah, Artie Bear, I love Art T Bear. Shout out. I hope he always gets his fish. Yeah, manga is pushing a lot of boundaries. Yeah, and the biggest boundary they're pushing is they are taking all of the things we've learned in drawing and Western knowledge of how to make visual work, and they're actually applying it instead of trying to get around the hard work aspect of it. And that's the biggest thing I want to talk about today, which is I do not ever spend any time thinking about what anybody else is doing with their work. That's not my business. Like, I don't sit around and go, oh, you know what, this person could be doing better, this person could be doing better. Not because of any moral particular thing. I'm always asking myself, what can I do to push myself? Like, what's physically possible for me to do? And I want to show you guys the thing that I think is going on, and a big part of it. Because we've had this, and we are so fortunate to be in this space and doing all this stuff. Yeah, what's up, Simply Green? What's up, John? All of you guys, Mike Ray, it's great to see you guys. Scottsley, of course. Our Luniverse, I got to say hello to you guys. It is great to see you cats in here. Cats and kittens, you are welcome. You know, and I wanted to show you guys some stuff that I've been thinking about in terms of what I compare myself to. So again, artificial, or I should say synthetic art, which is actually, no, I'm not even call it art. Algorithmically, um, algorithmically sampled imagery from other sources to me is not bad art. It's not even art. And I've given this so much thought, and I really sat around and thought about it, and I went, this is just another postmodernist idea of what art is. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean by this. So, cover your ears, darling. Brace yourselves. This is where, brace yourselves. They are, Google Images is not research, right? It's not. And what is it? Algorithmically collaged imagery is not art, because art takes a human being, and I'm going to hold to that. I'm going to hold to that because it is the truth. There is no, and by the way, I think it's an insult to machines that we even try to make them like us. Ouch, my braces. Oh, sorry, Paulus Arts. I've been there. Got braces when I was in college. It did something. I don't know if it did too much, but stay strong. So let's take a look at some stuff that's going to give you guys a sense. I'm going to show you two artists that you have probably never heard of unless you've heard me talk about them. And I want us to be a little bit aware of what I'm talking about when I say this is art. So here we go, cats and kittens. This is what the game is. This is what the job is. This is what it's about. The artist that you're seeing right here, I'm going to hide this sidebar because it's taking up valuable real estate. The artist that you're seeing here is Jake Weidman, Lloyd Burton channel member. God bless you. It's great to see you, dude. I cannot wait to send you your package. I've got my Gemini mailers over here. Guys, we're going to probably end up spending $1,000 or so on Gemini mailers. I can't even, holy cow, we've spent so much money on this. And it's got to be good. It's got to be good. So let's talk about this guy. I wish this was old school line art. Unfortunately, this man walks among us. The artist of this piece is a man called Jake Weidman. He was the youngest master penman. You've seen his work before if you saw the first commercials for the Apple Pencil. They got him to be one of the artists. He did the hummingbirds, one of the 4 artists used to launch the Apple Pencil. Why? Because even when you're pitching technology, you want to pitch technology by way of having people of exceptional craftsmanship go and work on it. This guy is younger than me by, I think, maybe a decade. This is the place. And I look at this stuff and I am amazed by it. This is a person whose work, penmanship, the pen empowers the man. So I was looking in the chat, and one of you, I'm not exactly sure who, but this is the thing. I can actually probably scroll up, but one of you said that you're working on your circles and things and trying to improve your hand control. So let me give you a little bit of art advice to all of you guys. Don't worry about being a great artist. Don't worry about trying to figure out certain things when it comes to hand control. Practice calligraphy. Teach yourself calligraphy. There's a couple of resources you can find. One of them is the Zenerian Guide for penmanship. It's Zanerians, I think, or Zenerian's Guide. You can, if I spelt it wrong, Google it. You will find it. Work and find that thing because it is worth it. And that is where you're going to improve your hand skills. I have written in block print my entire life. A couple of years ago, I decided to keep a journal, and I decided that I was going to practice my version of script, and I am now highly proficient in script. And when you get your books, you're going to see that the top piece of cardboard has "Thank you, Shanth." Like, that's what it's going to say on it. I'm going to sign my name to it, and it's going to be calligraphic for every single package I send out. So that's the first thing. And the same thing goes with the way I sign. So let's go to another piece of Jake's. This is another piece of Jake's. This is a little bit of what his work looked like when he was in the new iPad Pro and Apple Pencil thing. Do you guys see what I mean? If you can do this by hand, you can do anything. Can he make digital artwork? Yep. In fact, they probably paid him a handsome sum to demonstrate his traditional skills on a digital iPad using the Apple Pencil. They sold the Apple Pencil with him. They invested so much money in that product. They wanted the best, and they got Jake. Look at that, how nuts that is. Look at how nuts that is. And yes, it is a lot of work, but when I look at the people, you guys ask me all the time, who am I inspired by? Look at Jake. Look at the work he does. And I ain't even getting started, guys. I ain't even getting started yet. This is what it's about. So here's another image of Jake's I want to show you guys. This, Jake Weidman, artist and master penman. I can't even describe to you how complicated what he is doing in here. This is by hand. This is one of the many prints that you can buy on his website. How much does he charge for one of his prints? Between $300 and $400. Let me say that one more time. $300 and $400 to buy a print of one of his pieces. Does anyone question why he gets to charge that? I don't. I don't. If you want him to do an original piece, you're talking some serious money. But skills pay bills. That is the way it is. That is the way it is. I want people to think about it. Cursive is basically a form of code now, like the Wind Talkers. We got to bring it back. Listen, the only reason we're losing these things is because people aren't working. That's it. People aren't pushing themselves. You know, and it's incredible that way. Laugh Out Loud. Browncroft told Boocroft, hold my beer. Well, what was going on today? I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds fair. Sounds justified. It sure does, because he knows that there's one of him. There is one of him. And you know what's sort of funny? He wants there to be more. Every single artist of this high level of skill, and I was the same way when I was teaching, I want to pass this on, because you take it with you. You can't leave it behind. You have to train people, and people have to be serious. And by the way, people have to know the difference and appreciate the difference in quality. But you can't learn and understand the difference in quality if you attempt at a very low level. I would say to any of you guys, try to do a master copy of this. You don't even have to invent it. Just try to copy it and see how hard it is. Don't trace it. Try to do it freehand. See what you can do, and you will go, my God. But the thing is, you will appreciate this more when you attempt to do it. And that's big. That is big. Oh, that's right. He's talking about Bancroft's art share streams. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about that, because it's I'm always thinking about comics. Yeah. Excellent. All right, good stuff. So this is the thing about it, right? So we look at this stuff and we flip through it. Here's another one of Jake's pieces. So here he is, painting, putting all of this stuff together, and then making the headdress with text. That is beautiful. Beautiful. So what do I want to make with the stuff I do, with the time I have? What is Nosfero? Nosfero is beautiful, first and foremost. And it's a story, but it's about craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is incredibly important to me. That is why I paid the printer what I paid to do this stuff. And I came up with my strategy business model for this before inflation, which was unfortunate for me. But the thing is that I'm going to go to my grave, and I need to make sure that the stuff I'm putting out is quality. And the same thing goes for my commissions. There's going to be less and less of that stuff as I do more and more work. That's the way it's got to be. And I want people to understand what the hell we're looking at. Ready for another one? I don't feel like you guys are into this. Can I see some ones in the chat? Is anybody ready for another Jake Weidman piece? People ask me, when you wake up in the morning, what is this stuff? Well, if you wake up in the morning, Sean, they say, hey, what gets you excited? What artists get you excited? And I'm like, if we're talking my contemporaries, people who just throw your spirit up into the sun and say, look, live, breathe. Do you know what I mean? Shout out to my man Diesel. Isn't it beautiful? Tell me that's not beautiful, man. We got some ones happening. All right, guys. Sweet, 99. I don't even know what that means, but I love it, Paulus Arts. And hang in there with those braces, man. Let's go. You know what I'm talking about. Know what I'm talking about, guys. So now let's take a look at this. Look at this, Jake Weidman piece. What do you think he couldn't sell? Not what do you think he could sell. What do you think someone with this skill level would be incapable of selling? Do you want that on a t-shirt? Do you want that on a print? Do you want that on a sign in your house? This is what skill is. This is what skill is. I really want to find a way and find somebody I can work with because I've got too many things I'm trying to do by myself. God bless and thank Eric Weathers for doing the lettering on this book because handling everything else is exhausting. But do you guys understand what we're talking about when we talk about excellence? We have lost so much of this stuff. And the goal of all of this stuff is to tell you that hand skills aren't important so that you don't notice when it's gone. That's it. When people send super chats, it makes it possible, right? It makes it possible for me to buy brushes and paints. When people become channel members, and God bless you guys, it makes it possible for me to do these things. When people back Nosfero, hopefully the second campaign, because this campaign with inflation, everything, it's been nuts. But all of that stuff helps to make it possible. What this gentleman is saying here is he goes, this is me dedicating hours and hours, thousands, beyond 10,000 hours. By the way, the 10,000 hours thing isn't true. The 10,000 hours thing was lifted from the research of Anders Ericsson. If you want to actually know what it's about, read Anders Ericsson's work because he really breaks it down. But this is talent meets dedication and mentorship and discipline. This is a great quote of Jake Weidman's is you have to study as much as you practice. When people say, like I was telling my wife today, I've got a brand new TeePublic store. I've got some new shirts. I've got the Shanth and Jetty art logo right there on this shirt. I've got the Nosfero logo on a shirt. But when you guys want to know what I think I need to do if I want to sell t-shirts, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. I want to do things like this. Do you guys get what I'm saying? And it's crazy town. It is crazy town. And we need patrons to be able to do this stuff because people out there, I'm telling you guys, Ayn Rand talked about this. There are traders with a D, Traders. Shipper Melissa, shout out, channel member. Much love, man. Much love. Yeah, man. Look at how beautiful Jake Weidman's stuff is. But this is the thing people don't understand, right? Is that they are obscuring the importance of craftsmanship. So there are traders, like trading things like money and labor for labor with money, right? And there are looters. And what artificially algorithmically generated imagery is looting other people's artwork and images. That's how it's done. Unless someone can explain to me a better way, that would be the way that it would be done. They're taking all these images and taking the stuff out and saying, this doesn't matter. Because what they want you guys to do and what they want all of us to do is not get more skilled. So if you're asking yourself, and this is important, man. Yes, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful, Julie? Beautiful. What they want us to do is they want us to lose our ability to see the difference. Do you understand? They want us to lose our ability to see the difference between traditional work, or I should say excellence, and mediocrity. What is mass-produced and what is handcrafted. So that we don't have a soul left. You guys understand? It's just algorithmic theft. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I'm going to tell you guys this too. It's about individual liberty more than anything. It's because we're never there's not really a collectivist approach to this. We have to say to ourselves, I demand to pursue excellence and demand that it be acknowledged. So are you guys ready to look at another Jake Weidman piece? Has everybody, yes, school, awesome one, that's well said. School has moved from skill to mind control. Do you know what the funniest thing is? Jeff Goldblum answered the algorithmic image generators and that work. I won't call it art anymore. It's not art. Why would I call it art? It's an insult to human beings. That's what it is. He said, I'll tell you what's wrong with the knowledge you're doing. It didn't require any effort to attain it. You looked at what others did, you scanned it in, and then you spit it out. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourself, so you don't even know what it is you're doing. You think you can remove the understanding of a thing? What's going to happen when you have a machine that you don't know how to repair, doing something you don't know how to do by hand? Are you even aware when it's malfunctioning? You're not. That's the reality of it. You don't even know it's wrong because you're too blind to see it. You're like, it's about the same. It's like having your taste buds burned out and you're kind of like eating shit and you don't even realize it. Sorry, but that's the way it is. So let's have a conversation about this. Let's see what else Jake can do with his time working hard. You might remember this piece or version of his hummingbird work because this was one of the images they used in the Apple Pencil launch. They're launching one of the most important pieces of new technology for Apple that everybody's going to be talking about, and how it's just like using traditional media. Do they hire a lot of digital artists? Some of those folks did digital. James Jean was one of them. But they hired this guy, Jake Weidman, that so many people hadn't heard of. And I started studying his stuff because I was interested in calligraphy. That's what made it so beautiful. That's what made it so beautiful. And this is the thing too, right? When you're looking at this stuff. But guys, remember this, and this is important. I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying here. The tools are not the problem. I mean, the figurative tools are kind of the problem. It doesn't matter if you can type in a calligraphic font. You're missing out on actually interacting with the art of calligraphy. They're snatching your individuality away from you. Do you get what I mean? I'll put it this way. You can treat any type of ailment or physical injury with morphine. It won't hurt anymore. You just might not survive. Do you guys get what I'm talking about? This is what art is about for me, and this is the thing that amazes me. If you don't learn how to cook and you have other people cooking for you, you don't know how to cook. That's the tragedy. Not that you can eat a microwave meal. I'm not anti-microwave meal. I'm saying if you want to eat better food, that ain't the way. But I'm still going to eat microwave meals. There you go. All right, because we need more of this. So Jake decided that he wanted to increase his skill ability. He bought a lathe to make pen holders for his nibs. Then he started making his own wood carving tools. And he started making his own nibs too. And then he started wood carving. So we did a beautiful pen and ink illustration of this image you're seeing here, which this is a part of. But my goodness, this is him wood carving. The thing I always say to people is it the greatest work of wood carving I've ever seen? I don't know. I've seen some pretty amazing wood carving. Is it better than I can do by several country miles? You better believe it. You better believe it, guys. Drink this stuff in. Let's feast on art. Let us, Joe Mello, great to see you, my brother. How are you doing? Let us feast on art. It's so important, guys. Let's feast on imagination. I do not care what small-minded people are saying or doing out in the universe today. Elon Musk already made my day. But look at this stuff, guys. They're trying to tell you that you are too dumb. And who knows? I've been thinking about this a lot lately. How dumbed down has the exposure to these tiny little ways of thinking, these little petty ways of thinking. I'm doing great, Joe. I hope you're doing well. What have they robbed us of? Do we even know it? Well, that's what this stream's about. That's the stuff I want to do on my channel. These streams are about helping people to know it. Do you know why manga is doing better than American comics? Here's the secret. Unabashed, go for it. Full tilt. Imagination unchained. By the way, there's a lot of mediocre to crap manga out there, by the way. Manga as an art form isn't great. There are some great manga artists out there. Let me be super clear and say that one more time so everyone gets it. There are more crappy manga artists out there than there are excellent manga artists. Period. Done. But their excellence is rising higher than ours right now. That's the truth. And you can't get that good overnight. There's a reason why some of the manga that were still coming out, artists started doing them in the 80s, and they've improved every single time. You can't improve, right? And by the way, I want to point this out, what I just said about manga. There's a what was it? Oh gosh, was it Hanlon's? Was it Hanlon's Razor? I forget whose it was. But there was a famous science fiction author. Now this is going to drive me crazy. Hold on a second. I'm looking it up. Is this it? Nope, that's Never a Tribute to Malice. Shoot, I know what it is too, and it's killing me. Here we go. Where is it? Sturgeon's Law or Sturgeon's Revelation. I can't believe that took me so long. That was embarrassing. Shame on me. So Sturgeon's Law, for those of you guys who don't know, named after Theodore Sturgeon, who was a science fiction author. Somebody came at Theodore Sturgeon and said, Theodore Sturgeon, do you know that he's like, well, you're a science fiction author, but 90% of science fiction writing is crap. To which Theodore Sturgeon replied, 90% of everything is crap. One of the greatest responses ever. But the cream is what we measure things against. And the cream of manga, that sounds horrendous, is so much more successful than the cream of American comics right now. And we have to dial it up. And it doesn't mean we're trying to create American manga. We're trying to understand that manga exists and put that into what we're doing. Which is to say, does every character have to have 2 arms and 2 legs? Can a character have horns that have wings hanging off of them? Yeah. Does it have a meaning? Does it have a purpose? Do you know where it's going? Have you done any research? Are you well read? That's what we need to see. What's up, Daniel Craig? How are you doing? Most things are crap. It's true. It's common sense. Yeah, Sturgeon, you got it. Absolutely right. Yeah, that is important. Yeah, the cream of the crop is a saying. Yes, indeed. Right on. Yeah. Separating the wheat from the chaff, all of these things are important, and we won't do it if we're living in denial and making false equivalency when we're comparing excellence to average, below average, and then junk. Stuff that's not even art. So what do I compare myself to? This. That is what I want to talk about with this stuff. I am not comparing everyone in the world to this. I don't care. I don't think about what other people are doing. Don't count their money. I need people to back my stuff and support my stuff. And as an artist, I need to chase greatness. So here we go. Let's talk about some more stuff. This is another artist. This artist's name is Nick Alm, and this is a watercolor. I need you guys to take a look at this. When I'm sitting there and I'm doing my work and I'm saying, how can I improve it? My questions are looking at people like this. This is a sketchy watercolor by Nick Alm. Wow, I just rotated. I didn't even know I could do that. But it is beautiful. Let's have another. This is a gigantic watercolor by Nick Alm. And that doesn't even show you the detail. Look at the tree texture. Look at the lighting. Do you guys know? I know how hard it is to do this with watercolor and gouache. It is insane. I don't care if some program could put together something that looks like that. That's crazy. Like, why would I care? I have such a crass metaphor, but I'm not going to use it. But yes, it's still fake. It's never going to be the same thing. And if you can't see it's not the same thing, you know how fine arts, by the way, I'm changing it. I'm not going to call it fine art anymore. I call it the parasitic arts, and I don't call the social sciences anymore. I call them the parasitic sciences. Sorry to say. There's nothing science about those things, and there's nothing art about fine art. They are the parasitic arts. They will have you believe that a scribble is the same thing as a Da Vinci drawing. It is not. Not even close. And they have waged a constant war on art since they came on the scene. And they want to convince you that this isn't spectacular because you could kind of do something like or have a machine do something like it. That is not the point. What is up, JWK Creates? It's great to see you. First sketch by a human artist has more soul than a computer could ever achieve. And by the way, speaking of that, if you have not seen the cave paintings that are 46,000 years old, there is some majestic stuff in there, stuff that is like Hokusai, Japanese prints of animals. It's incredible. And if you don't know who Hokusai is, my God, if somebody says they're a fan of manga to me and they don't know who Osamu Tezuka is, and they haven't looked at the butterfly and insect illustrations he did when he was like, I think 12 or 13, then you don't know anything about manga. This dude was for real. This dude was for real. So let's take another look. Here's another watercolor by Nick Alm. That right there is magic. There is one of him in the world that can do this. Everybody wants to be able to do this in painting. Everybody's been wanting to do watercolors this good since John Singer Sargent went into the ground. But they can't. This is the best we've got right now. This guy's incredible. And I've been tracking his stuff for a while. So this is what I think about when I wake up. And he's one of 60 or 70 artists I look at. I'm guessing that very few of you have heard of them, but they're pretty well known. But it's purely technical, and I want to introduce them so that you know what I judge myself against when I wake up in the morning. Because I'm going to excellence. It does not matter what other people are doing over there. It matters what I'm able to build and whether I'm able to get financial support from it. And if I'm not, I love my family and I love my wife too much to keep doing it. I can paint for no money and go do something career-wise that's different. I really respect the hell out of Shane Davis for what he said on that stream. I said, you're absolutely right. Why suffer to do it when it sometimes things don't work? You got to figure out which things do. There's one for you. If you've ever painted in watercolor, if you've ever painted in gouache, if you've ever done anything like this, and I'm going to do a zoom, don't you guys worry. You know how incredibly difficult it is with paper texture to get eyes that small to look that alive and that beautiful. That is astounding. That is astounding. Indeed. Do you guys get what I'm talking about? Do you guys get what this is? Do you guys get what Shanthan Jetty art is about? Shanthan Jetty art is me trying to put together, literally and figuratively me, trying to put together stuff that nobody is doing in comics right now and telling stories that nobody is telling in comics. I approach it as an artist should, as a craftsperson should. That's what I see when manga artists are good. When they're crap, they're just like every other crappy artist out there. Same thing goes with European artists. You know, if people want to draw stick figures, rock on. It doesn't mean that I'm going to bow before it and say it's excellent. Not when this stuff exists. Not when this stuff, and this is a huge watercolor painting, which is even more difficult to do. This guy has skills for days. Let's look at where that tree breaks and hits the ground. Let's look at those shoes and that coat in perspective. Do you guys get what I'm talking about? Do you hear me knocking? I think you can. You know, it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. I could look at this person's trees and stuff that he paints for days. Here's another one of his paintings. Another one of his watercolors. Look at this. Nick Alm. Nick, N-I-C-K, last name Alm, A-L-M. He's on Instagram. He's everywhere. He's doing fine. And he is an incredible artist and somebody I look to and go, good gravy. When I was teaching, I used to show artwork like this, and what I would often say to my students is, this is an artist that is here to remind us all that when God is giving out talent, he does not do so equally. And sometimes they would gasp, but it's true. And you have to be chasing excellence. If you chase excellence, you're probably going to get something good. Or I should say, you might get something good. But if you're chasing average or not even chasing, you're not going to get anything even average. It's the way it is. So you've got to have better stuff. That's what you have to do. Nosfero, if I was just looking at what comics are doing, I might not have made it 8.5 by 11, but that's what I wanted to do. I might not have done any of this stuff, man. And this is the thing, man. It's like, and you know what's so crazy is, John, yeah, nevertheless, everyone has something to give. And that isn't that the craziest aspect of it, guys? So many people could be so useful if they took the opportunities in front of them to be what they could be and not have it be this romantic thing. I wish I could convey to people how much of a responsibility and how much of a grind doing artwork is, so that they could see that, yes, it's a grind to play basketball, and no matter how hard you practice, Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan, and most people aren't, right? And there are all these different degrees of success in there. But there's so many other skilled things that happen in and around that stuff that people miss. And I don't understand this this kind of craziness of, if when you see something like this, it inspires you. And if you see someone else's success, you say good on them when they're working hard and doing great stuff like this. But if you see this stuff and it doesn't motivate you, it makes you resentful and it makes you want to quit, that's on you. And if you see stuff that is really successful and good and you don't know how to, like, you know, acknowledge it and great, it's just, it robs you. I enjoy this stuff and I like this stuff not because of what it says about me, but what it says about human excellence that has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. And that's the thing that blows my mind about all of this stuff. Look at that. Look at that. Can I do that? No. Do I want to keep working and attempting so that I could one day do something like that? Sure. But that is a watercolor, and that is not normal. It is not normal to be able to do that. It is certainly not common. It's exceptional. It's about taking these freaking paws that we have, for lack of a better way, these freaking, you know, knuckles that we have, these, you know, primitive instruments, and then using them to create technology, which somebody does when they make this brush, and then pigment, which is technology that someone does over here, and then body, mind, spirit, media, pigment, brush onto a surface, what it's capable of doing, and how it's hand control, how it's your ability to see. The most important thing an excellent artist trains is their ability to see. That's it. And you learn how to see better when you refine what you can do with your hand. I can't overstate that, man. I don't know if he's younger than me. He's definitely more handsome. You know, I don't know. It's funny too, because I know that there's a bunch of people I follow who are younger than me. He might be, but I don't know. He actually might be about my age. But I got to tell you something. Let's say he's my age to the day. We have the same amount of years. Let's say he's 55. Let's say he's 60. It's no guarantee I ever get here by the time I'm 60. That's how good he is. Do you get what I mean? George Lucas made Star Wars when he was 33. I'm 47. If that's a tough pill to swallow and it triggers, oh, why aren't I? No, but I don't know. It's like, sorry, acknowledge it. If it should make you appreciate him, it should never trigger resentment, man. Ever. Ever. If it triggers resentment, you're diseased. You should say, George Lucas gave us Star Wars by the time he was 33. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? You shouldn't be saying, oh man, what about me? Guess what? You won't make Star Wars. You're going to go and die and not make Star Wars. I don't know how narcissistic a person has to be to not be able to live with that. Like, that's a level of narcissism I cannot understand. What does your artwork and your life say about me? Mental illness. Straight up. Don't do it. I am, good God, Gerald, Stephen, I know it. I am, but here's the crazy thing about it. I don't care how old somebody is or whatever they're doing. If someone is younger than me and they're crushing it, I am like, well, effing done, because genius is amazing. Yep, we're both 1776 bicentennial, baby. You know it, man. Yeah, not everyone can do the same thing. The world would be a chaotic place if everyone was a well, yes, without a doubt, nothing would get done. Yeah, if everyone was a if craziness, right? I am surrounded by so many skilled people, and I always think plumbers definitely fall into that line, man. Plumbers amaze me. My friend John, who's a plumber, is incredible. Electricians, the people. My responsibility as the artist is to make stuff great for people who want this stuff in their downtime. How many humans are remembered even 100 years? I got a good one for you too. This is important, man. No one will probably remember me in about 60 years, and that's optimistic. People will remember Harry Potter, and Harry Potter never lived, never drew breath, but there was truth in those stories, and truth will outclass anything. That's why the people who hate artwork and hate artists hate excellence of skill, and they hate truth. They hate rational, reasoned arguments and philosophies that have made life better over thousands of years. And they choose arguments and philosophies that have destroyed art, destroyed beauty, and it's crazy. And I'm going to tell you something right now, guys. There's one person that I'm going to tell you right now has never, ever, ever destroyed beauty, but has instead brought beauty into this world. And that, of course, is my dear friend, Grosse Pointe Dank himself, the flawless man, this gentleman.
Charge!
What's up?
Hi, man. That's a lot of pressure.
I'm on a tear, Dan. I'm on a tear.
You were on a freaking roll.
Dude,
you were
let me
on
tell
a
you
roll.
something, man. Let me tell you something. You're a brother of the craft. You know how long it takes us sitting down and drawing, how long it takes us to study, and how much. Guys, let me tell you this. I'm going to call this up right now because I got you here. Let me make sure I do this real quick. Present, share screen.
Hey, John. Hey, Paulus. Hey, Cranberry.
Got everybody
awesome
in
one.
here. Yep, here we
Super
go.
Green.
Share.
Good to see you guys.
Yep. So, yeah, man. So, guys, I have this called up in preparation for my main man coming in here. How to Draw Comics by Dan Lawless. This is further proof. A true Waffle Lodge member, by the way. A Waffle Lodge member. He has got this amazing YouTube channel. And Dan and I talked a lot about YouTube at some point. I can't remember because we're at that point now where it's like we go way back. We go back to Grosse Pointe Woods, man. And I was telling them in the chat how important it is to every artist I know to acknowledge excellence in others and to pass on what we know because we can't take it with us. And you're doing your part right there, man. Beautiful.
Hang on a second. I got to switch these headphones on. I can't listen with these because it echoes in my head.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
So, hang on.
Yeah, just switch them up. And so, guys, if you are not subscribed to How to Draw Comics with by Dan Lawless, please make sure you do. I'm going to drop that link right here in the chat. And here we go. But Dan is working on a comic book project, and he has been cranking out some very high-end videos. And you were basically getting, 40, years, 47 years with me, and 37 years with Dan. When it comes to of being an artist, he's younger than me. Dan is 25 years young, and
try tripling.
Yeah, we've been doing this for decades, man, right? And all our silly selves can think to do is pass it on. And to tell people, and by the way, be advocates for this stuff, man. Be like, guys, when you guys back and support, Dan, when you guys subscribe to his channel, when you back covers he illustrates, and I hope you guys are fired up to back his book, man. I know I am. That's what it's about. That's what we're here to do, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about these tutorials. I have actually been a little bit away from them because of Thanksgiving, when people come in town, I kind of drop everything and family's first.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I need to get. I'm
But
just getting
family
back.
doesn't
And
get
this
us
is like
new
the
art
first.
videos,
This is the
Dan.
first. This is the first channel I think I've done. What's that? Sorry.
I said family
What'd you say?
doesn't get us new art videos, Dan. I'm just teasing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, get away from me! I gotta be working on this.
Look at
No,
this stuff.
I have to get back in the groove because I was like, totally, out of it. It's the first live stream I think I've done since. Actually, it was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Then they had an emergency vacancy on Graybeards, and I feel that because Kelsey wasn't able to make it. So
The bat phone
I don't
rang.
have as good a beard as I don't have as good a beard as Kelsey, but it's not bad right now.
Nobody has as good of a beard as Kelsey. That's just, I mean, but we do. I was just talking before about all of these things. Art of Roy, what is up, my friend? It is great to see you here. Danny says Art of Roy. Look at all the love, man. Look at all of the love. Yep, a lot of people don't know.
Roy.
Dan, 17 years old, but just a prodigy, just crushing it. Dan, I don't know if you've ever had that thing said, but the overnight success, 47 years in the making for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, piece of cake. Graham Nolan, just came in and, he knew how to do these things. It's the way it is.
Hey, we still know how. I mean, it's still learning.
Yes.
That how they say the best way to learn is to try to teach something. Well, like just for that hands video thing, I spent weeks drawing hands. And I figured out because I have to figure out a way to teach it because I kind of, a lot of these things you sort of muscle your way through it, and you don't really own it. So I had to get, really understand it, and then try to break it down and teach it in a way that people could grasp it more easily. So I learned from it. My hands are a lot better at drawing than they were a month ago.
Well, I will tell you, Dan, my mother once
after
said,
all these years,
you don't
What's
have to
that?
do anything but be brown and die. No, but the truth is that when I look at this stuff, you didn't have to do this, Dan, but you actually care about the craft and you wanted to be YouTubing because you know how important it is in our space to build that YouTube channel before you launch your book. And it's not something, I'm sure you have copious amounts of free time. You're eating bonbons when you're not doing this. But my assumption is you work your ass off and you don't give yourself the option to not do a great job.
Yeah. Well, work is kind of like, it's weird. Like sometimes it feels like work, but other times it feels like it's just you just don't even have a choice. You're just like you got to do it, And
hell
that's
yeah,
what I think it's what I kind of like about the teaching stuff. It's sort of like you just feel compelled, it's almost like, oh, someone doesn't know how to draw hands. Let me help out, why not, let me do something, and it's fun. And then you get the responses. People don't realize how big those responses are. Like somebody says, "Oh, it was so simple." Because I look at those tutorials out there and I see like like how to draw a female figure. That's my biggest. Well, actually, I'm not sure if that's my biggest one right now. But it's like I had to develop a system over the years back, years ago, even how to draw a figure consistently, get it right.
Yep.
And I watch these tutorials and they're so complicated. And I think there's no way you're just going to confuse people. And so I had to, I had to come up with a system, then I can teach that to people. And then I see people, they say, I tried it and it works. And I know it works because I've been doing it for 30 years, So it's kind of fun to sort of, have done that. And just like my latest one with I don't know if it's the latest, but the perspective one, where I figured out when I was trying to learn my perspective, I took that, I don't know where it is, that sheet with a square in it. I would walk around the house and try to see my 1 and 2 and 3 point perspective and try to get a real feel for how those.
You mean like a viewfinder square like that?
Yeah, just a big piece of cardboard. I mean, I don't know where it is, but it's I had it on the show and it's like just any piece of any piece of board. You want to block out that peripheral vision. And you walk around it and you get a sense of here's your piece of paper. Where do because your perspective points are not, if you put 2-point perspective on the same page, it's going to distort. You have to have a certain amount. But how far do you make those points go off the page? You got to get a sense of that. And so you start looking in nature, and then you see how that works and something that's comfortable. But even that's a little tricky because when things get reduced, you're looking at something You draw on a big piece of paper like this, and you reduce it down. Those points come farther closer together. So, but then you may be holding it closer to you when you read it. There's a lot of complications to it, but in essence, you get it in the ballpark, and then and that's what you want to get a sense of the ballpark. So it feels like you're walking into that thing three-dimensionally, and and then when you own it,
I don't know if you know
for
this,
it.
But Michelangelo's dead. However, he is still kicking our asses when it comes to sculptural anatomy. Like, we're still looking at him, and he lived into his 90s, and I am certain a lot of his students were like, what if we all pushed him down the stairs? Who's going to get the blame? Like, that guy is a legend, and he threw it down. And I think that one of the things that people really need to understand is I don't even like to call them tricks because it insults it. We have made advancements in the teaching and the understanding of anatomy. There are some fantastic books out there, fantastic books on that stuff, but there is no book that's going to be a true according to Hoyle shortcut to mastery of anatomy or the figure. However you do it, you've got to get as many sources as you can. You've got to get to work. You've got to dive in, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You spend so much time on anatomy, Dan. Yeah. I've watched your videos.
I wish they had one thing I wish they had that I was starting out, the things that you can get now is beautifully sculpted figures. Because there's nothing like being able to draw from life or sculpture. In the old days, the training was you draw from life or a sculpture, and you really got a sense of the figure in the three-dimensional way, and have an understanding of all those curves and all the shapes and everything, the way light hits it and the patterns of light. It's all has to be memorized when you're sculpting when you're drawing something from life. I mean, for making it.
Dan, I love what you're saying. I want you to know that this is the magic.
Oh no!
Listen, I'm a big fan, and if I can just get it, let me see if I can get it right to read it. Oh, we'll do it. Do I have to do one thumbs up? Do I have to do two of these? I forget all of the rules for how I do this, but I used to be able. There it is. There it is. Yeah, this is the joy. I mean, it's
really rather religious. You got your.
It's terrifying. It's like it's some new Apple thing. It's scaring the hell out of us. But this is the
actually the heart one scared me the most. I tell you.
Are you sure? I guess I shouldn't have sent you that Valentine then. Probably not. But when I was doing those Vero and I was putting the book together, one of the things that has been so fun, and even putting the packages and stuff together, there's so much to learn. There's so much you have to do, including. When I make these super chat videos, when I did the video for when you guys come into the stream, because I wanted to have something, I wanted to have something for when, you guys popped into the Waffle Lodge, and I went, that stuff was like frame by frame painting stuff out so I could put other bits of text on top of it so that I could have you guys and your names appear when you did this, because I had an idea. It would be like, order up. That will be fun. That's all the art and supporting art that goes into what we do. I'm wearing a Jonathan Jetty art t-shirt with the crest on it that I do via TeePublic. That logo is on the back of the book with the Made with Liberty in the USA, which is also a TeePublic thing. Here's the book. It's all, when I seal up the comics, there's a Made with Liberty in the USA round sticker that I use on the back of it. All this stuff that one dude is doing. That is like, thank God for Eric doing the lettering, or I wouldn't survive, man. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I think
it's crazy.
Wait a minute, I got to switch my. I got a cord dress t-shirt on. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I have to flip this. Okay, because it's backwards.
Oh, because you're a mirror. Gotcha. Oh, sweet dude. I cannot wait to get my cord dress.
That's the one I colored.
Shout out to Andy.
There's kind of a funny story with this.
Everywhere.
So yeah. My wife says, hey, you got a package in the mail, And I'm like, I don't know, let me check it out. And so I took it in the other room and I go, oh, it's a t-shirt with a naked lady on it. And she's like, what?
My house is a little different. My wife is like, you got a package. And I'm like, I know.
So I put it on.
Then she's like, no, in the mail. So
I put it on. I put it on and I walked in the kitchen. I said, see, a naked lady.
Yeah, that's right.
She's like, of course, this is a rare. This is an ongoing, occurrence where she rolls her eyes,
I don't know, Dan. I think you should have just made up the story. She's not here. You could have gone, I went to the kitchen and she was wearing the shirt. You know, that's what it should have been. And just the shirt. And it was like, dun, dun, dun. Romance. There were candles lit all like that.
And I was like Cordrath, man. In all of his
exactly. And you were wearing, you know, the muscles rippling through the armor, and you were like, bring the thunder. Yeah, man.
Maybe that's what happens.
That's what, I mean,
I would say if you buy a Cordrath shirt and you wear it, you know, it brings out your He-Man qualities.
It's weird. I don't like to give medical advice, but there's like apparently a steroidal coating on the inside of the shirt, and it just got covered with testosterone and then in wolf milk and whatever it is, it gets into your pores and it makes you into a serious man. And I just want to put this back up here because I've been pushing for this for a while. And Art of Roy, that you and I did not discuss this before the stream. This was not planned. But Dan, when are you going to do an art book? When are you going to do an art book? Why do you leave money on the table? And why do you hate me personally? Come on.
The problem with the art book is that all my art's out there already. It's like everyone just see what's already out there, you know. So I want to. I mean, that's not where my passion is. My passion is I want to tell stories.
Tell a story.
Really, that's what I.
Hell yeah, man.
So
hell yeah. Well,
yeah,
we have another incredible guest hanging out in the background. And I need a thumbs up from him before I can bring him in here, because I've got a don't mind me in there, and I'm confused what it could mean. But let's assume he gave me a finger to let me know that he's ready to come in here. God bless you. I love this man. Guys, please welcome to the Waffle Lodge someone who, if adjectives were to be used, I think great would be it. So let's have it. Charge! Booyah! There's my man.
Hey, Eric, how are you, man?
Hello. You too. It's good to see you. Good to be here. I'm doing pretty good, can I say?
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a hat right now, so I don't know exactly how well I'm doing. But so far, so good.
What's with that? Oh, because we have hats. You feel peer pressure to have a hat, or?
Yeah, it's in the other room now. I don't even.
Don't worry about it. You look good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just got out of the shower. I feel
Antonio
good.
Banderas.
Just not. He looks good. He's just not as good as us hat people.
Yeah.
As good as what?
As us hat people? Is that right? I don't know. I think the case could be made. Everybody has seen the slow-mo mullet. It's become I just finished Dan's never assume the new kids have seen your stuff, Dan. Do it for prosperity, Danny. And let me say that I would say this, and this is the big thing about I've been working on in terms of mentally here inside the indie space, which is if there is an opportunity to sell something that you have to your fans who desperately want it, that's it, man. You know, and then it becomes a question of time, and it becomes a question of priorities. It is always your call, but I'm telling you, people want an art book, man. They'd love, and even just process stuff, because you know it's crazy, you know, to see all of your process sketches and things like that, man. My wife goes, "I'll murder you if you do," because I've got so much work to do here. But I'm like, I'd love to lay out Dan's art book. I'd love to do layouts on it, man. Yeah, Awesome One is asking what finger it was. It was a peace sign he gave me. It was the peace sign. See that? That's what happens now in here with that peace sign. Balloons start appearing. It's dark.
I like the balloons. They're right.
Yeah. Sean's Eric Weathers intro needs to include the mullet. I know, but I've already done that on Comicsgate Kings. I've got 2 kings with me. Just finished Dan's intro the other day and sent it over to Ethan.
By the way, I won't, without revealing anything, I could say the intro is inspired by Art of Roy. Would you say?
Yeah.
If you know the history.
I don't know the history, but I bet. Yes, the nickname, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Oh, it's good.
I'm in the dark. I'll find out Monday.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys something with all this stuff. people are always like, yeah, the international peace sign. That's totally right, Mr. Monkey Boy. People are always asking me this stuff, like in terms of doing those videos and like what makes me decide, you know, to do this stuff. And I go, I have to have an idea. It's nerve-wracking. Like I sit around and I just go, I've got to do an intro for Dan. Like I've got to come up with something. And also there's the nature of that show. There's a certain kind of flow to it, and the intros are kind of like hype intros, you know. And some of them are funnier, and I've done different ones.
Aren't they kind of like you're at a football game, a baseball game, and someone's coming up to bat, and they have some sort of phrase or something they play that's you know, in theme with the person. That's a quick thing, and it ever gets the crowd riled up, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
It's a wrestling intro. I'm surprised I didn't have a glass break before my intro started. Like Stone Cold.
I know. Yeah, that's right, man. Hey, listen, my favorite part of that intro was my wife going, she's like, she goes, what was it? What does it even say? Isn't it like weathers? Oh, severe weathers alert. And then she looked at it, she goes, is that a cow? And I was like, yeah, it is. This is some Twister stuff, okay? This is some
Oz a subtle one.
Business,
yeah, it's good.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I love doing that stuff because with these shows and with everything we do, we get a chance to develop it. So Eric, what have you been working on, man? How's everything going?
It's going good. I've been working on this without even having to use hands. First of all, look at that.
Whoa.
Beautiful stuff. And working on this.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm trying to draw on my iPad now so I can be a little bit more mobile.
Yeah.
Right now it's just layout, so I don't know. We'll see how the inking goes.
You got a deadline now, man.
I do, and we're not going to mention anything else about that.
I know we're not. I'm not. Listen, Mom is the... But I love it, man. I will tell you this. We'll keep it as vague as possible. My wife goes, I like where his wife's head's at. So pass that along for me, man. I dig it.
I told again to keep it vague and not let the chat or Dan know at all.
Nobody.
I told Zeb. I teased it to Zeb and he figured it out like right away. He's like, "Oh, let me guess." He's like, "You got me. You understand me."
That's right, man. Zeb gets it, man. Shout out to Zeb, man. Yeah, Battle Brick Road 2, man. That campaign is beautiful, and I am really excited about everything that you've been doing on it. I'm really excited to get to be, and thank you again to be a part of it. I mean, when I look at it and I think about this, I mean, we're at $35,455.21, 623 backers. I know a lot of you guys have been frustrated that you missed Nosfero the Crypt Walker. There will be a second chance campaign. It will be different. I've figured out that I'm going to definitely do just the art book that people want. But the thing about it is that I don't believe in doing, for me, I don't do alternative covers because once I come up with a cover for a book, I want that to be the cover. What I am going to do is I am going to take a look at those pages, and I'm probably going to work into some of the panels. So the interior art will be adjusted and different in the second printing because I always like to go back and look at things. So every printing of that book, I would really like it if there were just subtle differences in it because I want it to be the best thing possible. And since Eric's letters are perfect, then I don't have to change those. So they're ready to rock, man.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm excited. Yep, they are perfect. Eric basically wrote this and he goes, if you have any notes, go F yourself. He's a big Elon Musk fan, and he said these are perfect. You know,
Elon Musk got it from me.
He did. You started this gangster.
I did.
That was. Can we talk about how beautiful that was today? I mean, yesterday, but when I saw it today, I was like,
Elon
"Holy
Musk
cow!"
I mean, he's literally the richest man in the world. So if anybody has FU money, it's him. So I like it.
Yeah, and he pointed out Bob Iger in the crowd. That was beautiful.
Oh, that's what he was referring to when he said, "Hey, Bob."
Yes, he said, "Hi, Bob."
Okay.
Bob Iger had just gotten up there and given a long talk about why Disney didn't feel comfortable advertising on X, and then he came up afterwards, and that was basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
that info.
It was the most gangster. The most gangster. Yeah, the recent about half an hour in Kelsey slaps his hog on the table. Okay, I'm gonna believe you on that. That sounds beautiful. So yeah, guys, let me say this. If you've missed Nosfero and you don't want to miss another campaign, this campaign right here, Battle Brick Road 2, and by the way, speaking of Kelsey Shannon, you've got a Kelsey Shannon cover for if you need to catch up and get Battle Brick Road, the second printing of Volume 1. But there is so much stuff to get, and if you're a Shanth and Jetty art fan, and I know you are, make sure you do not miss, for $39.99, 10 beautiful collectible prints, the Battle Brick Road print book. And unfortunately, I'm the only person on this stream who is going to be doing a print in this book. It's just me and Eric Weathers. I don't think anyone else is. Dan, is that true? Oh, yeah, Dan is doing one. Sorry, Dan is doing one.
Dan's doing one.
So, he better
Dan's
be.
waiting on me.
Over here,
actually.
me.
Yeah.
Dan's waiting
Let's
on
make
me.
this
I started
happen.
doing. I have to design a character so that he has something to work off of, and
Sweet.
it's
That's even cooler.
difficult. It's a difficult kind of character.
Yeah, I'm like the horse of the race,
So.
and behind the gate, I'm like kicking and everything,
Jumping
and ready
at
to
the
go.
bit.
Eric's just
man.
you just gotta hit the gate, and I'll be like taking off.
Man.
We'll
Yeah,
be
man.
there. Don't worry,
Yeah.
we'll be there soon.
Dude,
If you scroll down a
can I
little bit,
just
you can
say,
actually see the first piece we have turned in there by Jose Garcia.
Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta scroll down, and let me say this too, though. The freaking cover, Eric, you killed it on that, man. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Love that cover, man. Let me go down here.
That's your cover with
Very
the
nice.
red one.
Yep.
Yeah, the red
Eric,
one
that's
is
your
that
cover.
is Eric's digital painting right there.
Oh, that's great.
He's a digital painter.
Thank you.
Very
Pencils,
powerful.
He draws. I mean, come on now. He letters.
I even Julianne Fries.
He Julianne's fries, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't
Look
know
at
what that
that,
means,
man.
but I do it.
Dude, I don't know. I just eat it. That's it. Done. It said fries. That was it. Love this stuff, man. Look at this stuff. Beautiful. Guys, tell me that you don't want this on your wall and then just leave the stream if that's how you got it. Otherwise, you better back this bad boy because it is beautiful.
Yeah, so we've got
Beautiful.
Shant, Dan, Jose Garcia's piece is done. It's up there. Rod Looper's working on a piece right now, too. So the
Hell yeah, shout out
rod
to Rod.
extends into Battle Brick Road, too.
That's right.
He sent
That's a
pencils
hell of
over.
a
It looks
rod.
really good. Yeah, it is.
Yep. I'm telling you what, guys. That's right.
Hey, Battle
Can't
Brick
even
Road,
stop.
it is an artist's playground. I mean, it's
It
just
is.
got so many. It's open to so many different artistic images and you know you can do earth stuff, you can do structure stuff. It's fantasy really, and I think I'm saying this before maybe, but comics, the superhero stuff used to dominate because in the beginning you only had a limited color palette, flat colors. So things like Superman, Bat, or Spider-Man, they did well because they were blue and red and yellow and all that kind of stuff. But now, the fantasy stuff suffered because you didn't have you had to try to color fantasy with blue, red, and yellow. That it just didn't work. Now in fantasy you can do earth tones and like see the gold of the Yellow Brick Road, and it's like it's much more open and I think you're going to see more fantasy comic books now because the advantage now is on the side of the fantasy because really when you try to render a superhero, paint it like a Superman or Spider-Man realistically, they look kind of dorky, that's why whenever they make these movies like Superman, they got to darken up the costume and stuff like that because it just doesn't look cool. It looks, although Christopher Reeve I thought pulled it off pretty well, but a lot of these like X-Men, with the blue and the yellow and it just doesn't really translate when you start painting and doing realistic stuff. Not as well. So as these comics get more, the color palettes are now completely sophisticated and infinite, I think it's going to be more these types of comics that will actually gather the attention of the fans, because they're just going to enjoy the art better. It's more painterly and more sophisticated. It works better with the computer coloring. So, because you notice, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a big fan of what computer coloring did to comics initially, because it took away all that fun pop art feel, where you had primary colors.
They didn't pass on. This is the thing about it. The people who were great at it knew color theory. The people who weren't knew the technology. And that's true with almost anything. When I look at a spread, like these two pages next to each other, I'm like, man, like if you love comics, if you love this art form, and that page on the left doesn't do it for you, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like that, I remember seeing that in every stage of its development. And I was like, this is so cool. And to think that these characters, you guys are who back these books and are here, you're getting in on the ground floor, and you're hanging out with the creator of this book. You're getting to spend time with the creators of this book. And that's right. That's right, man. And, and it's, I don't know who you got to letter this book, but I'm sure they'll do a fine job. I don't.
Some schlub.
That's right. Yeah. Somebody who's got all the time in the world, just free time everywhere.
You found a guy in the street, right?
Yeah.
You found a guy.
Lettering's so easy.
You found a guy who would work for
anybody
food.
Can do it.
Wait. Eric, you found a guy who would work for food, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. He'll work for food.
I love this panel, by the way. This panel's beautiful to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. See,
look at that. You got the sunshine popping in there, but if that character were yellow and blue, it'd be a little dorky, But now you can do these earth tones, combat colors, greens, military colors, and it's cool, man. Looks, it's a neat illustration.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The coming up with these character designs was it was a chore, but like that makes it sound bad. I put a lot of love into it. It was very intentional in all the designs, and a lot of things will be expanded upon too as we move forward with the story. That I think is going to be pretty. Some of them I don't think you're going to expect. Hopefully, one in particular that I'm thinking of is certainly going to knock your socks off. But yeah, that character design stuff, I love doing it. I mean, went through a lot of iterations for Scarecrow, a lot of iterations for Lion, and finally got them all sort of sorted out. And people have really responded and they've resonated with folk. So,
yeah, I mean, my thing is that I've been thinking about a lot lately is I don't believe in going outside. I've been watching the news. Every news story I see of something going wrong involves other people. And I'm fairly certain that there's a way to avoid trouble by doing that. That having been said, which is the New England way of saying ignore everything I just said, I really am looking forward to us all picking a convention at some point. I know we've already been doing it, but I'd like to pick a convention at some point that I want to go to, and that's a good place where I can meet a bunch of people, that you guys are going to be going to. And I want to see people start to do things like trying out costumes of this guy, because this guy is ready to be a costume. I picture how I would build that mask when I look at it, man.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
I would love to see Scarecrow cosplay.
Hell yeah.
And then somebody make a live action, just him running and dodging gunfire or something, or in a field under a ghillie suit. Yep. And then Thea runs by and she's shooting, and if I had a budget,
that would feel so respectful though. If someone took the time to take your character and make a costume out, I mean that, and you would be very grateful, of course, for that, man.
Absolutely,
it'd be a lot of fun though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I've been really amazed by is I've been watching a lot of this stuff that has been going on in the entertainment scene. And I remember I watched this is a while back. I was watching Jordan Peterson, one of his famous lectures from back in the day when he was still teaching college. And he was talking about the Pareto distribution. And they were talking about that today on WDW Pro's channel. And they were talking about how once skilled people who can do the kinds of things that we're doing here that have so many interlocking parts, that it's so complicated that it can be practiced, but it can't be explained very quickly. You know what I mean? It's not like how to send an email. It's not like how to do, all of these particular things. And they were saying that they lost a generation of mentors when they retired, and a bunch of mentors and highly skilled people that left the Walt Disney theme park building community when it became impossible for them to work because they had to answer to morons. And that top percentage that does the majority of the work in the theme park design world that you can't replace. There aren't two of each of them. There's not another John Lasseter kicking around or another George Lucas kicking around. They're the people who do that kind of work. They all went to Universal. And so what I've been really enjoying and being inspired by is how Universal Studios in the theme park in Orlando, their Epic Universe, is going to have the Universal Monsters, Harry Potter, How to Train Your Dragon, Nintendo World, and the Imagineering in it is the Disney term, the theme park designing in it is second to none. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, you know what's so funny? Have you ever played the Donkey Kong Minecart game? Have either of you ever played that? Okay, I
Donkey
never
Kong
have.
Country?
Yes, Donkey Kong Sticks. No, Country. I haven't played Donkey Kong Country before. I know nothing about it. What I do know is, apparently, the minecars, there's broken track. That's what I know.
You jump. Yeah.
Yep. So they've built this theme park and this ride. They're building a Donkey Kong Country ride where the track is sideways. So it rides on the side of the track, right? But underneath you is a fake track that has breaks in it so that it looks like you're riding on one track that is not the actual track and that you're jumping the gaps. Tell me that isn't a freaking outstanding idea for a theme park attraction. Does that make you smile, Eric? I saw Eric fighting it. Eric's like going, the darkness. No, I want to ride Donkey Kong Country now.
I do a little bit.
Now imagine if you didn't. Imagine if you didn't know about that break in the thing, and you're going up and see this
That's
thing.
the point.
It looks like the track.
Right?
Holy
if
shit.
You do and you're afraid of heights, you are going to freak out. Okay?
I know, you are going to be finished.
Ever gone into a haunted house knowing what you're expecting and still get crap scared out of you? Yeah. It's craziness. And they are doing things where they have the boxes of Mario Land where you punch it with your band and you get coins and it makes the sound because they know people aren't going there to not see the thing. They're going there to see the thing. Duh. You know what I mean? All we're doing with doing these comics is, guys, this is my brilliant manga innovation. I started sitting back and saying, I'm going to do this story. I love Hammer Horror. My comic book is for older audiences, and it's going to be inspired by Frazetta and all of this stuff. And I go, there's going to be some tasteful nudity in it. There's going to be some pulp. There's Eric, when you said to me, go, I'm getting the letters roughed in. I was like, oh, please, Lord Jesus, don't let Eric have had his son do that. And you're like, don't worry, my son did not work on it. But it was the whole idea of it was, I look at manga and I go, well, I wouldn't go that far. But I think the audience is expecting, take a look at our screen right here. They're expecting action, adventure, stuff that was shocking when Image Comics did it back in the day, or when Hellboy, or when independent Dave Stevens with The Rocketeer, or Bernie Wrightson, or EC Comics, or Warren Publishing, when they did it, people were like, whoa, oh my gosh. The cool factor is important. People are tired of the Comics Code approvable stuff. They want to see is
it Eric's job to place the lettering in selective areas to censor things, or what?
Yeah, Eric just put all the word balloons. Sorry, guys.
He does little small word bubbles that are like pasties.
No, Eric did something I found kind of offensive. Every time there was any nudity in my book, he would have the word balloon coming out of the nudity. And I said, Eric, don't you dare.
Yeah.
You know?
Talking nipples.
Yeah, her eyes are up here, Eric.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. I think the best response you can ever give when someone says that to you is to say, I know. Not interested.
I'm aware.
But I'm aware. But you know what's down here? This is going to blow your mind. Your superpower. So just enjoy it. Enjoy your superpower. But it's cool because when I'm working on, I was showing the artwork of a gentleman by the name of Jake Weidman, and Jake Weidman is this incredible artist. I know I've shown you his stuff. I freaking love this guy's stuff, and he started teaching himself. Yeah, let me call up. I want to see if I can find this one image that I thought I may not have known because I can't
speaking of
find
art,
it.
last time we were talking, you guys, we're talking about these, showing you those landscape files and stuff like that. So I did send those to Eric, and I also sent him a file of forest, because I got them in categories, So I'm hoping that you were inspired by that stuff. But there's a lot of good stuff.
Did he flip you off too? No,
I did. I mailed him a photo in the snail mail of that, actually.
I knew it. Yeah. I never doubted it for a second. I said, I know what Eric's doing right now. So this is a piece of his that, let me see if I can make this happen. Gosh, I tell you, Google, stop trying to think for me. I can barely think for myself. But this is an image of his wood shop. And when people say, oh, what are you going to look at for, when you're working on a piece by somebody, in Eric's case, when I'm working on the Battle Brick Road piece, and I'm illustrating wings. This is Jake Weidman's wood carving studio, because he doesn't just letter, he does things like this. And that is what I want to accomplish with the wings in the piece, with Thea. I want to be able to do that.
It's beautiful.
Isn't he incredible? I mean, this guy is incredible. He is something else.
Is that carved out of wood?
Carved out of wood.
Oh my God.
That is a studio.
Wow.
He makes his own nibs and his own handles for his nibs. And he makes his own wood carving tools. This dude.
How many hours do you think it's something like that, man? Shit.
I don't know, but to quote one of my favorite comedians, he must get up very early in the morning. He must get started. But see, that's what gets me excited, man. When you see people, oh, are you heading out, Cranberry Langers? Take care, brother. Thank you for being a channel member. Much love. Great having you in here, man. But it's like, thanks
for checking out my videos, Cranberry. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, guys, when you guys leave comments on Dan's videos and any of our videos that we do, it really does help move things, guys. So yeah, I look at stuff like this and I go, this is what's possible. It might not be possible by me, but I'm going to keep pushing my stuff as far as I can go. And so these were the wings I was looking at as I've been roughing in, the piece of Thea, and I'm like going, all right, I got to make these wings like really feel cool. They just got to be cool, because you gave me these great characters, man. That's the joy of it.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah. You said, yeah, I mean, when you sent me, I remember I sent you that layout. When you sent me that message back saying that I was humiliating myself, I was like, man, he really wants me to bring it more, Craig, Eddie Izzard, that's right. Yeah. Oh my Lord. But it's killer stuff, man. It's so cool. And I'm excited about Battle Brick Road, man. I cannot tell you how excited I am. Have you been checking out Dan's new videos?
I'll be honest, I haven't seen any yet, but I've been a bad boy. I'm sorry.
No, if this wasn't a shame,
bring one up.
I've got him right here, man. Are you kidding? I'm ready.
All I watch anymore is just one guy streaming one game. 3 or 4 guys streaming one game. That's all I do. That's my entire
Man's
day.
gotta live.
Days watching Daisy videos. So I don't need to learn how to draw.
No, you don't. But I just want to point out, my man.
Actually, the one this is the one that I'm most interested in people seeing is a simple one. Not right now, but it's kind of boring. But that how to do crystal clear storytelling every time. The simple 180-degree rule. I think that's so important, and it's something I learned back when I was
crossing the line,
from somebody.
Right?
Yeah, and the action access and it's so interesting because if you follow that rule, your storytelling's always clear, and it's the rule of movies, it's the rule in TV commercials, it's a rule stage rule, and following that is really good. But hey, how about the female
awesome
figure
one?
one?
I'm not going to put my face on those wings and put it on my headboard. That's not going to happen. My wife is already. I wake up a lot of times and she's tucking me in with the pillow on my face, and I just really don't want to push things. It's like you don't need to tuck the pillow into my mouth and push so hard. I was asleep. But no, I mean, listen, this is the craziest thing.
You cut out the oval in the center of it. You cut out the oval, put your head through it, like.
That's right.
It's like a masseuse table pillow.
That's right, man. And see, this is the crazy thing about it, right? Anything you want to learn how to do, you can find videos of. You can find, reference stuff for. I've learned how to do so much stuff that way, and then you got to practice it, and practice makes it permanent. And it's. I feel like the amount of skill that we're putting together in this space is great. What I'm really excited about and what I want us to keep doing is the kind of cross-pollination we've been doing. Like, have you seen this? Have you checked out this thing? Because that was probably the best thing that was in art school. And what's unfortunate is so little of that is in art school now. It's people passing on the best stuff.
I'm afraid to know what's not in art school.
Everything is.
That's the funny thing is like my video on perspective is like somebody like contacted me, like I just learned. I spent years in art school and just learned in this video more than I learned in art school. Because they're not teaching it, and they actually don't. They don't even know how to teach it right. That's the problem.
Yep.
Honestly, when I was in art school, I could draw better than a lot of my teachers. So it's like I felt like
my God,
a waste.
me too. Yep. Oh. But here's the
I
thing.
never
It's so
went to
funny.
art school.
Yeah,
I have nothing
you
to
see
compare
how
that to.
it's held you back, Eric. It's like,
honestly, you learn some things, but really, especially when it comes to comics, you're self-taught, pretty much.
Yeah. I was when I was teaching at art school, I learned perspective. I didn't learn any perspective in college. I learned perspective from Brian Stelfreeze at Gaijin Studios when I interned there. And I had this thing where I would say to students the first day, how many of you guys know perspective? And they would kind of go, and I'd go, how many of you know well enough to show it to me right now? They were like, no. And I'd say what Brian said to me, and I was incredulous. He goes, I'll teach you perspective in 3 minutes, and you'll see it differently. And he taught me the eye line, horizon line, the quick, 1 point rule that then you build everything off of. And I actually got more students to come to and decide to go to the last college I was teaching at, the small art school, by doing that demo at open house and say, if any other art school, see if there's any other school you can go to where they can teach you this in 3 minutes. And they were just like sold. I was very good at getting students to come into the place. The problem is knowledge in any situation, as we're learning from corporate America, all this stuff started in college. The people who are the most skilled are the people who are the most resented. And at a certain point, they leave. They're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is crazy, And I think what you're seeing, a lot of us are expatriates from anti-meritocracy situations. And we're coming here into this particular comic sphere because we're masters of our own destiny. We get to art direct our own books. We don't have to have somebody say, I don't know, I wouldn't do that character that way. It's like, cool, do your own book. But this is my book.
Yeah.
This is Battle Brick Road 2. This is Dan. You were about to reveal the secret title to your book. I can't remember. So anyway, and always trying to trip Dan up there. Have you revealed it yet?
It may work because you did Jedi mind trick on me, and that's what you got to really do. You say you want to reveal your title.
You want to reveal.
And I said I want to reveal the title.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
I'm telling you, man. It's you've shown some of the sketches though, and you've shown some of that stuff. But what I'm waiting to see are those. Like, this is going to sound weird because it was a coloring job of yours, but then I've got your artwork, in my head at this point so much, that it's crazy, man. But it's when I saw your coloring job on Bud Root's pages for Core Draft, I went, man, do I want to see a Dan comic now? I know that's crazy because I love Bud Root, and I've got that book order. Yeah. I've got Bud Root's art book over here. Just saying, having an art book doesn't mean you can't do comics. Just teasing. But when I saw that stuff, for some reason, seeing your colors in that sequential stuff and seeing how much digital rendering you did on that, I was like, get out of town.
I paid the shit out of it.
You painted
the shit out of
it. Dude, can you call up a detail of that? Is that allowed? Or are we going to get in trouble? Is Andy going to come over and get me in a headlock? Because I'm tired. I don't want to die.
He's gonna shake your hand. He's going to thank you for promoting me. Actually, though, speaking of coloring, did you see the Garbage Man? Did you get your Garbage Man? I mean, through your Next Wraith of God book. Did you see the backup story?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. That was really a lot of fun.
I do have it. I got the Simon Bisley cover, and I got to say this: it's one thing to see an original painting. It's one thing to see that held up and then see the print, but it printed great. That Bisley cover really reproduced great. Yeah, fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it was
not easy.
It looks exactly like I did it on the computer. It's fantastic, and in fact, I think I like it more.
Yeah, so it's beautiful.
That was awesome.
Yeah, if you've got pages to call up, man, if you got anything you just want to drop, or just show some of the process stuff. Yeah, Fat Samurai is on board with all of us, man. Dan needs to do something. Here's the thing. Here's my one argument I'll make for the art book. And I made this to you last time, but then I'm sort of obnoxious this way. Is that it's a really great way, especially if it was limited edition, it's a really great way to get in the groove of launching a campaign and getting just that under your belt. Because I did 2 art book campaigns before I did my comic, and I think that nothing can prepare you for your first Indiegogo. my Nosferatu Indiegogo, I felt like even after doing 2, campaigns, I was like, holy cow, this is a whole nother animal. I don't know, Eric, what was it like for you, man?
Well, my first one was Flying Fortress, right? And that was, well, not counting those. My first one, even though that was Flying Fortress back then, but the remastered one, there was a lot of how do I want to put this? I had purposefully chosen to do that to build the audience because I knew it was already done, and it was something that I could easily easy is not the right word, but something that I could get out the door faster than if it were something I was drawing from scratch or what have you. So I think it's good to have those. It's good to start small.
Yeah, test runs.
Build an audience that way. Yeah, good test run. Something that isn't gonna.
People are loving it. Can you imagine? Yeah. He's got a video on drawing the female figure that nobody's watched. Nobody cares about this video, Dan. But there's a lot of people who've watched it. And I just think, imagine if there was a freaking book tying into that video. It's like, here's the, my art book where you can see. So it's like, come on, son. But anyway, he's not making the case, well here, if I can just, by showing these astounding zoom.
Okay, so this is a 2-page
all I
spread.
Want you to do is zoom.
I will, but I just want to describe it first. It's a 2-page spread for the core draft, 4-page story about this character Lilith, and so it's that's done. It's kind of closed, unfortunately, but see now here's this guy, this monster's rendered pretty heavily, but when you get in, you see what I really did.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the funny thing about painting or anything. They're just smudges of paint, put in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Not really complicated.
It gets me really amped for your book, dude. And I think that, the art of, this is a beautiful, I love these kinds of covers. This is the Wraith of God Bisley cover. I love these kinds of soft touch kind of covers. They're not gloss, they're not matte. I did gloss on mine, but beautiful. I love the fact that we've got so many different kinds of books. But yeah, I'm looking at your story again right now, man.
You know, the exciting thing,
Garbage
I
Man.
mean, I got to read the new Wraith of God features like the first book features werewolves, and this one
Yeah.
features vampires, which kind of makes me wonder what's the next one. Is it going to be Frankenstein monster or something? You know,
Zombies.
it's really exciting. But so
Yeah.
that's great. And then the neat thing is this story, the Wraith of God story. It's in the past, but it ties into the current his current number of characters too. One set of traditional superheroes, which is Nightclub, and that's it. There's great characters in that. I can't say too much about it because I don't know how much he wants me to say about it. But
Aaron doesn't
they're
watch
a
my
whole lot
channel.
of fun. But they're a whole lot of fun. But they're tied into the Wraith of God story, the characters, and they're connected somehow. I don't know exactly; it hasn't really been revealed yet. And then Garbage Man is also in there, and that's tied into a modern situation as well too. And it was fun because I colored that not knowing the words or anything like that. I didn't know what the story was really happening. So when I got to read it, I'm reading it for the first time, and it just really came alive to me. So Aaron's a really good writer. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then of course the Kit Carter story he's got at the end too it's hilarious. So you got horror, classic horror, you got comic books, you got what we would Aaron what I call a Bernie Wrightson approach to Garbage Man, and then Kit Carter is just fun. It's comedy. It's a goofy story, lots of fun. What a great book. I mean, he is just kicking butt with it. As far as it's comic books like you read when you're a kid, any kind you want is in the book. It's a blast. It's really fun. So I'm excited to read.
Talk about this though at the start of this is what the stream is about in so many ways to me, which is Aaron has so many years of dedication and craftsmanship, and he is unchained, man. He is just going for it in Wraith of God. He is drawing the hell out of this stuff, and you can't do that overnight. Every one of us is swinging for the fences, and what's odd when I look at this book, I've got this book on my desk. I've got it next to No Sparrow. I've had Eric's books right over here. I've got all of these comic books, right, that I've been looking at. And I feel like this is one of the things people may be missing in the Comicsgate space and what we're doing over here is that you can grab different genres of books, put them together, and get a completely different representation of what's going on in this space. There's a lot of different stuff. Like, I just think, I look at Battle Brick Road, which is very like fantasy sci-fi, but it's got that big mythic quality. I don't think it's a straight superhero book. It's more archetype hero book. And I've got Wraith of God, No Sparrow. I look at Kordrath over here. There's this very cool fantasy, sword and sorcery, mythological, archetypes with, I think of the Lion and the Tin Man and Scarecrow. These are things that we're creating.
Well, Eric's book is
genre.
The genres are blending together in Eric's book, so you kind of got a sci-fi, fantasy, maybe a little bit of superhero, amalgamation, whatever that word is. It just really it's a lot of fun. So again, it makes it fun to draw, and it makes it fun to read, and it makes it fun to tell the story. So.
Leave this up. I'm just going to hide it for a second because I want to make sure I show.
I'm going to bring up some Garbage Man. You can check that out.
Yeah, please do. I have to show this because this is one of my absolute favorite pages, because all of a sudden you get this almost, iconic illuminated manuscript, stained glass, obviously all of that stuff, image in here. And this is where the real richness of what he's doing, the blending of the fairy tale, the action adventure. Guys, I'm not going to beg you to buy Battle Brick Road 2 and Battle Brick Road 1 if you have not gotten them yet, because I do not believe in begging people to reach out for a life preserver in a vast ocean of hopelessness, and that life preserver is hope. What I can tell you to do is, for your own self-preservation, show your common sense. Back this book is freaking gorgeous. Period.
Eric, I
Thank you for
love
that.
in Battlebrick Road. I love there's a big sort of 2-page spread of the girl with her gun. It was impressive. I thought that was a very cool job.
Yeah.
Thanks. That photo reference of myself in there. I had to stuff my shirt and everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
No.
Look, I'm just saying.
Battlebrick
Yeah.
Road 2, we are over 50% done with the line art now. So
Hell yeah.
Okay, here, you guys. This is Aaron will not let me show the whole story. He just wants everyone to. So, but I'm always allowed to show the first 3 pages, and this was one of them. This is the second page, and it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. But again, if I zoom in on this,
Aaron doesn't even watch this channel.
He's not gonna know. Nobody's gonna tell him.
He's
We're all
not gonna know. I'm waiting for someone that's gonna share that with Aaron. Look, Aaron is my brother, because he is also.
Oh my gosh!
A
I just found out.
monster
I just saw a
serial
flaw.
fanatic.
I just saw a flaw. in
I
my
love
coloring.
it. Way to go, Dan's like, I
Dang
just saw a
it.
flaw.
Look, wait,
Artist
ready, guys? Look at
cliche.
this. Look at the tooth. I forgot to color that tooth.
No, that works.
I hate that. I hate that when it happens. You know.
Oh, I
You know what's
it ruined the
who's
whole
good
thing
at
for me.
you know who's good at finding stuff for me like that is Andy. Like I'll send him something I colored, and he sends it back. He's got all these markings. I'm like, oh shit, how did I miss all that? You know.
Yeah.
But I did. You know.
Yeah.
I think I got another one. I got another one where I can a page I can show, but I screwed it up the coloring. But just I mean it's not a big deal. But for me,
Dan,
the little things,
Dan
little
is
things
like going,
drive me nuts. You know.
oh
Look at
my
I forgot
gosh,
to
you're
color.
too funny, dude.
I forgot to color this area right here. You know that truck.
Well,
should
I'm
be,
gonna request a refund from.
I know,
Aaron now,
it's like-
obviously.
You
Go to the
should.
back of the class. Oh, I forgot. Oh, here's the one we put the Frankenberry. This
Frankenberry,
did not go
one.
to print.
Dude,
I forgot about
Wait.
it. It's still on there. I still got it on there. I could turn and take it off. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Oh,
We
awesome.
we
That'll be
really
there for
oh
the
man, we
reprint.
really gave Aaron the hardest time for all this stuff, and we're still doing it for Kit Carter. You know.
Yep.
It was
So
funny.
Aaron,
because
that
he's kind of a
I-
little more yeah, Aaron's pretty reserved conservative guy, and so it was a lot of fun. It's fun to tease him when he's a good sport though. He's not.
Aaron is Aaron's like I said. I mean, it's the funniest thing to me about his stuff is you spend so much time looking for kindred spirits. Look, and I said that to him. Who else did I say this to? I've said this to a lot of people because I feel like I've been looking for this stuff for such a long time. Like Shane Davis is a big kaiju fanatic, and I built a huge part of my audience on making kaiju art. Oh, Dan, look at that.
Yeah, I just did this last night. I was goofing around with Conan with armor on it, and it's like King Conan, So it was a lot of fun.
I don't know what to tell you anymore,
So
Dan.
cool. I love the metal work.
Yeah. Are you trying to
Yeah,
get us?
hey
to-
Eric, I got a
not
video on
include
how
you in
to
our
do
part?
different. Eric, I got a video. That's one of the first videos I did was how to paint different kinds of metal surfaces. That would actually be a fun one to bring up, John, if you want to do that. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, Sean,
Which one?
do something.
Do what? What do you want me
How
to do?
to paint metallic armor.
No, I'm not going to pull that up. What I'm going to do is, because this is the big thing, man. I've got Dan Lawless here. I'm not going to watch with Dan Lawless. That's
We could EFAP
that's
me and just
insane. That's
make
meta.
comments
I
on
want
how
them to look at
stupid
this
I
artwork,
look.
and I want to hit this link in the chat. If you are not subscribed, everybody who is subscribed to Dan Lawless, put a 1 in the chat. Everybody who is not subscribed to Dan Lawless's channel, go subscribe right now and put a 1 in the chat after you're done. That link is there. That is a mission you have. Make it happen. Because I look at this. Can you zoom in again? I mean, this is what we're here for, man.
Wait, which one we're looking at? I kind of let
The
that
one that
go.
you
Which
got,
one are you
the
talking
Conan in the gold armor. John's got a 1 in the
This
chat.
guy.
He knows what's up. Yeah, man. It's beautiful. Zoom.
So you can see how this is really loose,
Lawless.
It just,
Dude, I love it.
scribbles. I would do this much tighter if I was doing
love
it for print, but it's like here, let's even. I think you have to even go closer for online stuff. You can see just how scribbly. all that
Fat
is.
Samurai, you may know this.
I can't
There we
do
go.
that.
Isn't that crazy? It's so wild. Let me say this. Fat Samurai is saying this. Conan by Lawless, please. Dan has got his own badass character in the works that is going to be his, that he's going to own. And it's going to be everything you love about this and everything you love about Dan, which is the central feature of it, all rolled into one. And I know you're excited, Fat Samurai. I am too. I am chomping at the bit, as we have now. That's our metaphor for this show. I am chomping at the bit to see where this stuff goes. And I just want to build. You've been doing such a great job with your YouTube, building the momentum for the stuff you're doing. You've done so much CG artwork. And again, guys, I know I've mentioned this before. Dan, keep that up. I'm just going to remove it for 1 second because I want to make sure that I was just thinking
this could be some form of torture. If as Awesome One says, watch Dan Lawless watching Dan Lawless. That could be pretty,
It is, but brutal. I'm not here to torture my friends. I mean, a little bit, but not.
That's going to be my YouTube channel. It's just me watching my old videos.
Oh, dude, I could never do that. God help
then
us
make
all.
one of you watching your old videos.
It's infinite reflection.
It probably could be, that probably could be a thing. Just shoot one video, then have yourself watching that video, and then have yourself watching the two videos. Finally, you got like 5
we'll make a comic book about Sean's drawing a comic. Epic. Yeah, that'd be a little meta. But let me say this too, guys. In this fine book on the Battlebrick Road, battlebrickroad.com, guys. The link is in the description for this video, to be clear. So there's many opportunities. But this book, $39, 10 beautiful art prints, 11 by 17. Is that right, Eric?
11. It'll be an 11 by 17 book,
and it will have
is going to give
a Dan
the
Lawless
artist
print.
Yes,
and I'm going to paint the crap out of it.
Yep. That's the thing, right? Is we comic artists, we draw all this big stuff, but it gets shrunk down. So there's certain things that they leave the detail out of here and there. You don't have to do that now. You can go absolutely crazy on this stuff, and everybody's going to see it just as big as you drew it, as God intended.
Yep. And when we've talked about this a bunch, but I'm telling you, man, when I look around next to me at this, really soon to be avalanche is the best way I would describe it, of artwork. And I look at the thing I'm doing right now on Mike's piece right here and how this one's coming together. It's always hard to get a good light on it. Cannot wait to scan this thing. And then right underneath that one, I'm using... Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Right underneath this, I'm going to be transferring this onto watercolor paper, is the detailing sketch for this piece right here, for the great, don't ever get it twisted, Eric Weathers. And it looks
great too, Sean. I'm excited.
Amazing.
Your colors are phenomenal, and I just
thanks, brother.
And I really love to see them happen. And it's fun. Are you going to do that one live on the show?
Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. I mean, the thing right now is you guys probably, well, I know Eric definitely knows, and Dan, you will very soon know, because your campaign is going to go nuts when it happens, is you can't do a lot when you're packing up boxes, because you can dox people. You can't go, and here I am putting together boxes and somebody's address flips up on the screen. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's craziness. And so I can actually show, let me see if I can show this. Oh God, hang on. It's like such a mess over here. I've got just boxes and boxes of stuff around me. Make sure I don't have anybody's name on it. I don't think any of this stuff is going to show up because it's in pencil anyway, and there's no addresses on it. But I've got, these are the boxes, that I've, the Gemini boxes. And the next one, I'm going to use that code, Eric. My wife was like, how did you forget? But these are the first boxes. I got the, so I could make sure I could square all the corners, because these are the magazine size boxes. I've got extra cardboard that you can buy, the padding cardboard. So these are the ones that I've put together and signed or done the head sketches, depending on what they ordered, or the extra prints. They're all stacked. The first batch, we'll weigh them all.
You get muffled. Your sound is muffled.
Your mic's cut a little bit.
First batch of these that we do, we're going to. Can you hear me now? Is it all right now?
No, not yet.
I feel like you're like Like your mic just isn't picking you up.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, keep
How's that?
talking.
That's
There you
Keep
go.
talking.
I hear you now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, is it better?
Gotcha.
Did
Yeah.
you hear me
Yep.
knocking? Am I coming in loud and clear? Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
hear you now.
but it's great. Yeah, I've been losing audio all day. But that's the thing that's so cool about this stuff is as I'm packing these things up, there's so much involved in it, but to me it's the best part of this whole thing because it's been such a long road of doing this. I mean, I feel like we've been doing this. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I probably hit the cable a little bit. That's probably what it was. But we've been doing this stuff for so long. And when you're doing the fulfillment of it, it's this incredible experience, man. I cannot wait to see people with these books and showing them online. It's
Now,
going to be so great.
have you got? Are you still waiting for the prints, or you had the proofs, but did you get your books yet?
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got 800 books over in that corner right there. In my studio space, I refuse to let it get in the rest of the house, and I do not have a big studio space, so I may die in an avalanche of books, or just go up, with the house.
There's worse ways to go.
I think we discussed before.
It's
not a bad way to go. You died.
Let me tell you, man. Yeah,
you gotta really love your art, though.
No, I mean, here's what it is, man. I love my fans and I love my backers, and starting out with those first 2 art books, Dan, that I did, I wasn't even in Comicsgate, and having those fund, and Eric probably can relate to this a lot, the before Comicsgate, funding versus the with Comicsgate. It's like, it's the difference between trying to sell it out of your garage, in the old days and selling it at a convention in the old days when people were going there to buy comics. Like that's the difference.
Yeah.
And and we just have got this, we've got a lot of it figured out. I think the only, I was thinking about this the other day when people talk about, the whole, idea of, what is this point that we're in right now? Like, what is this phase of the process? I think the phase of this process that we're in right now is innovation and dreaming bigger, because people are very comfortable backing campaigns and getting stuff from us. Now the question becomes, what can we do? What can we make? You know what I mean? And Aaron was talking about doing an 8.5 by 11 book, which is, the thing I was so excited to do with No Sphero. Pete Cimetti is doing, books on pulp. Like everybody's bringing cool stuff to this potluck, man. And I love the vinyl record, Eric. I cannot wait to get that, dude. And the 11 by 17 poster book. I don't know how many times I backed your campaign, but
are you guys interested in seeing what this picture looks like on the different layers? Because
we have no interest. But go ahead anyway.
Not at all.
See, I did if you look at, I did an overlay on top of everything. The top layer up here.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you. I did options too. But
you got to zoom in, dude. You got to zoom in. We need more. There we go.
Okay, so I did I did this overlay of light over him.
Wow.
And I got to pull back a little bit so you can see just how it affects the whole thing.
Yeah.
But down here, I had several, like I did one in silver. Wait, it doesn't work right now because it's got the other one on either. But you can see I have an overlay that adds the gold. I just did a color overlay, so I really did this guy in this black and white, painted it in black and white, and then I just did a multiply overlay in that, and I could put it in blue too. I tried it in blue, kind of fun. And in the background, there's a orange overlay on that one, and there's a layer of the stuff, and then a layer of the sky.
Whoa!
Do you put a lot of drawing in on your stuff before you go into paint? Or
not this one. Rough? I would I actually I want to draw. When I do my own comic, I'm drawing it on pencil because honestly it takes longer because I just as you were saying, Eric, that zooming in thing, You know, because when I did that Two-Fisted Manly Tales, I did that all digitally. It took me forever because I would zoom in, you know, and I'd work on, you know, something like this, and I'd render the heck out of it, and then I'd pull back like, I just spent an hour on this little part here, and it ended up taking me forever. So I just want to draw it so I know how far I got to go in with rendering and how, you know, and that sort of thing. So, and this is just easy puffy skies here, and I did, you know, different opacities of them.
Yeah,
and you can see that that's just a quick, those are a couple of quick lines, you know.
Yep.
But you see, I'm drawing it fairly small. Like, I mean, when I'm looking at it, I'm not, so I don't see the details. So the reason it looks so loose is that I'm I'm coloring it and I can't really see the details. So, you know, that's why it looks like I'm really, you know, I'm not going in here and scribbling all that, you know, freehand and looking at that scribble mess. I'm looking at it back here, trying to make some shapes, and it just looks scribbly when you get in. It's like a guy can't see, you know. So
yeah, I think the thing for me when I'm painting is I tend to, I know it's a good rule to like start bigger and go smaller as you need more detail, but I pick a point and I just start the detail. It's like starting to ink the drawing before I finish drawing it. I just get into the nuance a little bit too soon. I don't know how to. I need to figure out how to loosen up a little bit and take those broad strokes and fill out the painting that way. And then
I do my stuff the traditional way. I do it in a traditional way where I do a gesture drawing and all that kind of stuff. That's like one of the first videos I did was gesture drawing. I mean, to me that's huge. That's something I.
Fat Samurai goes, loose, laugh out loud. You're amazing, Dan. Oh, but Fat Samurai also seems to be saying that he is not interested in art book at all. I believe is no. Actually, I disagree. I don't think that's what he's saying. He's on my side.
There's the original line art.
Beautiful, dude.
There it is.
Beautiful.
Let me take the background out so you can see it more clearly. Looks like I colored some of it, but accidentally. You know, I do that all the time. I was drawing the wrong layer. And so, like,
do you guys ever step back and take a moment and think to yourself about how many different things we have to know how to do? Like, that we just know how to do now? Like, how many aspects of the job, video stuff?
Don't make me think about it.
I hate to, yeah. Well, I pause this for a second, Dan, because I want to come back to this, but I want to share with you guys, a king. This is my idea of the ludicrous stuff I do to unwind at the end of the night. Is a King Cryptid piece that I was doing, and I said, this is like where my mind goes when I think about various stuff. Let's see here. If I can add this here. People go, what would that look like? And it's like, because to me, when I read a book, I get excited. So this is my King Cryptid piece. Do you guys get it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, see, like Eric totally got it instantly. I'm like,
wait.
This is my King Cryptid piece. You know? Like, I'm just like New Hampshire landscape. You know, layer after layer after, you know, weathering down the photo, adjusting the color, grabbing, you know, the Gamlin, you know, footage of Bigfoot, and then painting
you guys, I snapped a photo up north, and you might find of interest. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that.
That's really well done, Sean.
Okay,
that looks like
man.
That's really good.
This is, of course, the famous photo of the. And this is the. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. I gotta add this.
So this is the famous photo of the Yeti. But then this is about 10 years ago, up northern Michigan. Somebody shot this guy walking.
Uncanny.
And I thought maybe he might be the same age. If this guy had children, this guy could be at the same age to be his child. So, you know, he might have been a hairless version of them. I think. I don't know. Anyways, he looks pretty familiar, I think. But
when we start to be able to imagine all of this stuff and do whatever we want to do, to me, it's how far do you want to take this thing? like if our goal is to get the word out about comics, I haven't even posted this on Twitter yet, which I got to do. But how far do we want to take this stuff and get people excited about comics, man? You know, I got the digital editions of King Cryptid that are, you know, that Peter's selling. And I started looking at it, and I was listening to a lot of Art Bell lately, and then of course I was, you know, watching videos on the history of this video footage, and I just thought, you know, that's what the fun of this is. You know, the fun of this is taking this stuff and seeing how far we can push our painting skills and how far we can push our, like, that's why I tell people all the time, you have to. When someone says, do you do digital or traditional work? Your answer should always be yes. I do digital and traditional work. Thanks for asking. You can't do a YouTube. Do is everywhere. Do. We are a can do outfit. And I think that the thing for me is to just do a YouTube show, to do intro videos, to do, you know, have your setup for recording. Not to mention talking to printers, right? I mean, it's Eric, you know all this stuff. Dan, you know all this stuff. You guys have got a lot of, you know, years in the industry. We have to do this. We have to do everything. And then you start pushing your skills to see how far you can make things move. And doing this was a lot of fun.
I'm so happy to do all this because in the old days, this is what was so frustrating when I was working there at Marvel. It's like you give someone your pencils and, you know, they're in a hurry and they're just trying to crank something out. And they ignore your pencils, they ignore your work, and so that was so frustrating. So it's now I can control, and even the printing. I did that 3-part painted series of Star-Lord, written by Timothy Zahn, and I had worked out like a whole year on this thing, and I saw the printing came back, and I thought it was going to be on nice paper, and it was on newsprint, and I was just like. My heart just sunk. The color pencil does not reproduce well unless it takes a large reduction, and I was just like so bummed. I was crushed, you know. And like now, what if I took those same color pencils, I could scan it in, I could clean up because they say the color pencil picks up, or the camera picks up details your eyes don't even see, and I could smooth those areas out. I could produce this thing, and so I could control if I want that thing to print as a 30% cyan, and you know what I'm saying, I can completely control the printing values. Send that to printer. I can control everything, and that's why, like, when I got Aaron's Garbage Man story that I colored back, it looked exactly the way I drew it. It was phenomenal. You know, like it was. I liked it even more. So what we can do now, all this stuff we got to do, as you're saying, is to me means control, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
You know, I got frustrated in comics because I couldn't control these things. Now I can actually control them, and I want to do them more.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's a lot of that isn't just the technology, but it's also the freedom you have as an independent creator that you do have that total control of.
Oh yeah,
all of those choices that
it
you
draws me
listed,
to it.
and
That's bringing me back into the trade again because I'd sort of written it off. I was like, can't do the quality I want to do. The time frame too. That you can't do a good quality comic the way you want to in a month.
No.
You need a number of months to put this stuff together and really do your best possible work. And this crowdfunding thing is incredible for that, you know?
It is.
It's so cool.
Yeah. We're just starting to, how do I put this? There's an element of this that at least for myself, that and why I think those first 2 art books were really helpful for me before I did Nosfero, is I went through this stage of realizing how free I was, what the possibilities were, because you just like you start asking yourself, like I was going, I got all these comics, the Collected Rocketeer, the Shadow 1941 again, which my brother freaking colored. I didn't even know that when we met. And I get all these books, and they were all this scale, and I'm doing these paintings that are, crazy, detailed, and trying to get people to be able to be immersed in this. And I go, wait a second, I can print it at that scale. Like, I've done these 2 art books this scale. Why am I going to go back to another scale? And, there's going to be somebody sooner or later comes along and is like, I'm going to do it manga scale. I'm going to do a small book, Do you know what I mean? Or I'm going to do a larger format book, and we'll see where the audience goes with this stuff. But I think it starts with things like the 11 by 17 poster book you're doing, Eric. You know, it's opening up possibilities. Even the 10-page story with the black and whites for oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. This is embarrassing. Little Black, or is it Black Riding Hood or is it Little Black Riding Hood?
Black Riding Hood.
Black Riding Hood. That went supernova, and it's a 10-page story, man. And it's, people are like, I'm loving this. I want to check this out. And the fact that it's got this kind of totally indie bootleg sort of quality to it, you know, where it's just, I love that. What'd you say? Yeah.
That's a very diplomatic way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it was. I love it. Eric, cracking me up, dude. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
hey,
you know,
Eric, a lot of people.
You did your job, and I was going to say, go ahead, Dan.
A lot of people don't understand what John is doing in this. It's a little more serious than people take you know, on the surface, because he knows that he's pushing the envelope, and he because I think his experience with being canceled was, you know, and he's trying to do the best comics. He's trying to sell comics, and these people are canceling him left and right. And really, he kind of was kicked out of the industry for doing that. Yeah. And I think this is him saying, you know what? I'm going to push this to the very limit and be willing to take the slings and arrows of people saying, hey, this guy's, you know, a racist or whatever, you know. And he's saying, no, I'm not. And I'm going to make a comic and it's going to use the N-word and stuff. And he's doing it. And that's what I feel like there's a lot more seriousness to John in that realm that people realize. What he's on a mission. And you know, it's so you don't judge it so quickly, you know, because this guy is really trying to do something, and I appreciate that, and I understand that, and especially as an artist, you know, because if you get in any way canceled, he's sort of like blazing the trail and pushing everything, you know, taking all the attention, and we kind of walk in a little bit and kind of cakewalk our way through. You know what I mean? He makes this big path for us. You know, saying, and I appreciate that. I appreciate
Elon. I think Elon Musk would like John. I'd say that, and then I'd also say that the other aspect of Malin too is that he is, and I know I don't even have to tell Eric this remotely, but John is a perfectionist. He knows exactly. Eric's eyes just closed. Eric has nightmares of John standing over him with some notes, but he is an absolute perfectionist. He walked through fire, and there's this crown. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's this sort of medal honor that is, and I forget what the exact name of it is, but it's given to the first man over the wall in ancient Rome, and he was the first man over the wall in Comicsgate. He went out there, and he was the public face that took it on the chin, and then Ethan got, God knows, so many of these lumps, and when you see them, it's like, why would you compromise when people, in the face of people trying to take everything from you? When I do Nosferatu, what's that? You know, that famous thing that I forget the quote, who it's from, but the question, I think it's actually Ayn Rand who said, the question stops being about who's going to let you. The question starts being who's going to stop you. And I think that's really what it is. You know, it's about who's going to stop us if we do this, man. Yeah, Dan is right. Yes. Prayers for Malin, even though he's not a believer. You know, we're chipping away at him.
He's more of a believer than you think.
No, I've sat down with him and I said, John, can I talk to you about Xenu? And he was open. You know, he was very open. I said, listen, there's a new science called Dianetics. What level?
Is he OT8 or?
No, he's not OT. Yeah, I'm OT. I'm clear. So I'm, you know,
clear's only the beginning.
Tell me all your private secrets so I can put them on this hard drive. And
wait,
you know, it's
Shant, have you mortgaged your house now yet to buy the whole set, the new revised set of the Scientology? Because that's, you know, there's always little revisions, and you got to buy the whole set again.
I don't want to be tried and found wanting. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This is what it is, man. Yep, Elon absolutely hit it out of the park with that. Yes, Xenu, it's with an X. Is that the latest crypto? Yeah, that's the latest cryptocurrency. But no, I mean, guys, thank you guys for hanging out here. It is 1:19 a.m. I know it's a little bit better over there. People are fading. We've been here for 2 hours and 19 minutes. If you gentlemen would be so kind as to stick around so I could say hello to you briefly, I would appreciate it, of course.
I can do that.
Excellent, guys. Thank you so much for being here for episode 1 of the Oddcast, which this is just an example of randomness. But I just want to make sure that I'm doing this stuff regularly. I want to promote these guys' work. Dan's YouTube channel, guys, please go there and subscribe. Please make sure you back Battle Brick Road 2 and 1 if you've missed it. The art print books. You're going to kick yourself if you miss out on these amazing pieces by Eric, Dan, myself, Jose Garcia, Rob, I believe, is doing a piece. Rod is doing a piece as well. There's going to be some really great stuff in this book, so do not miss it. We love hanging out with you guys. You know, it's a pleasure.
Okay.
Yep. Rod Looper is doing a book for Michael, right? A LUCENT book that's going to be kind of in between the stuff that he's doing. So he brought in an artist. And all of the support you guys give us on these channels, everything you guys do, channel members, you're going to be in the credits when I play that. But that's what makes it possible for us to expand what we're doing. And we appreciate you guys. So as I love to say, because I think it's so important, always speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith and peace, because that is what my name actually means. We will see you guys soon. Word.
Good morning, come on in. Coffee's good, fresh and hot. There's a waffle in the baker on the grill. We're making